good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed, never stressed. Got the sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult,
but I do like the song.
Hold your balance.
It just puts you in
Because there is no way you're bound. Everyone falls down sometimes.
That's true.
But you just gotta know it'll all be fine. It's okay. It's okay.
We gotta play this part though.
It's okay. Feeling good, like I should.
All right, we're gonna get started. Good morning. Command your morning. We have a special guest host, which I am so stoked about because we have to have her on as a guest too. And so we're gonna do a quick combo. And we have Kimberly Meserve, who does not enjoy talking about herself, but we need to talk about her because she's young, she's successful, she's a badass, and she lives in Boston, another Bostonian. Currently. Yeah. And just like a small thing that you are 30 under 30, which is a huge honor. I could maybe make 30 under 50. I'm thinking I'm going to apply for that. You know, you're probably really involved in YPN, but I've created OPN just so you know. All right, Kimberly, tell us about yourself. Long walks on the beach and all.
I know. I was writing that. I'm like, I don't know what to tell. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for having me on as a special co-host. Like, it's such an honor. When you messaged me, I was like, oh my God, it would be like my complete honor. Because I'm always telling Nick how much I just like adore you. I think you're like the coolest ever. So thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, you kind of already said everything there is to know about me. So I'll be going. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I am an agent in Boston. I have a small team, just started this year, and I was very blessed, I guess, in the theme of the song this morning to have won the 30 under 30 award this year. I honestly did not expect it, nor did I really think it was like that big of a deal until I got it and everybody was like freaking out, and I'm like, oh, this is super cool. I wasn't expecting it at all. So, yeah. You're muted, Caryn.
Well, I think it is a huge honor because it's hard to reach success. I actually just interviewed John Royce for my podcast, and he's an OP in Lakeside. He's 30 years old and super accomplished because I am extraordinarily impressed with the success that people are achieving at such a young age. So what did you do before you decided to get into real estate that this became your passion? And then you moved from Maine to Boston. I moved from Ohio to Colorado to sell. I didn't know anybody, so I had to create my sphere. So how did you do it?
So it's actually funny. I kind of fell into real estate. So I went to school for art. Well, actually, originally I went to school for business, and I was not I was super bored. I didn't want to stay in college. I wanted to drop out, and my parents were like, no, you really need to stay, get a college education. And so I figured, well, if I'm going to have to stay, I'm going to do something that I really enjoy. And my mom is an artist. My grandmother was an artist. So art has always been in our family. So I have a very useless degree in painting. I can paint a beautiful painting, but I spent a lot of money on that. It was very stupid. And so there's not a lot of job options when you graduate with a BFA. And I thought that I was going to go get my master's and maybe become a professor or something. And usually they want to see a gap between your undergrad and your master's. So out of college, I got a job at a company that sold wholesale scarves to companies like Nordstrom, Anthropologie, TJ Maxx. So we took artist designs and printed them and then produced them. So I handled all the boutique accounts, really enjoyed the job itself, did not enjoy the culture, toxic work environment. But at that time, I was fortunate to buy my first house. So my parents were like, buy a house as soon as you can. And my brother bought a house young. So I was 24. I bought my first house. And my agent was the one that got me into real estate. She was like, you would be really good at this. Like, you should get your license. And that is how I ended up at Keller Williams.
So you started your career with KW and you're still here today, which is amazing. I mean, not amazing because I get it because I'm still here, but to buy a house at 24 and to have that wherewithal to know that that's like the beginning of wealth, and that people don't understand that even if it's $70,000, you buy it to then you buy your next house at 110 and so on. So I applaud that. And also people don't really realize how hard a BFA is to get.
Yeah, it's like, actually, it really prepared me for like real estate because people are so mean. Like, we had to do critiques and stuff, and like professors are cutthroat. Like, they will not hold back from telling you how they feel. And I think that actually prepared me really well to like succeed in business and have like deal with rejection and people telling me no.
Like America's Next Top Model.
Yeah, it's like, it's cutthroat. They're just like, this is crap. And you're like, I just spent so much time making this. And like, I used to take it like so to heart. And now I'm just like, whatever.
Right. I mean, you do have to have a thick skin. Like, I feel like real estate agents right now, because we're leaders, like we're whipping boys, right? We are just taking it left and right with the pandemic and the stress, and it's not letting up anytime soon, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
How are you managing it?
What was that?
How do you manage stress? Like, who's on your team? Who's like your go-to? Who fills your bucket other than, I mean, Nick and myself, I'm sure.
Yeah, so my team up until about a month ago, it was myself, showing assistant and a transaction coordinator. So I just hired my first like full-time admin, which was a really scary thing for me to do, like to take on a salaried person. She is kicking butt so far though, which has been a huge relief because she's just like, what can I take off your plate? Like, what do you need me to do? Like, let me help you with this. And that's what I really need. I'm not like a control freak, but I also just like hate just saying, oh, you handle this. Like, I don't know. I just think, oh, I can do it quicker.
So you are a control freak, like every top producing agent, FYI. It's like when my friends told me I wasn't type A.
Yeah, that you definitely are type A. And then a couple weeks ago, I brought on a buyer's agent. So that's been really exciting because I like have more than I need for buyers. And I really want to just kind of let off on that a little bit. But what I did was when I moved to Boston, because I didn't know anybody, I actually built my business through doing first-time home buyer workshops. So we started doing them in like July of 2018. And my lender partner and I have done like over 100 of them. It's like we have like 25 to 30 people attend each time. I'm usually getting like a 25 or 20% conversion rate. So it's been super lucrative. But I got to the point where I was like doing so many and I was getting so many clients and like I wasn't following up with people. And I'm like, man, I really need somebody to like help with this. So Alex is kicking butt too in his first couple weeks.
I mean, not to like drop a teaser, but you're going to talk about this at Mega Camp. Our virtual mega camp. And so you're going to talk about your buyer presentation or your buyer workshop and how you do so many and how they're so successful. So little teaser for everybody out there.
I'm so excited. I had no idea either. Like Mindy, who's Carrie's assistant, texted me one morning, like pretty early. It was like 7:45 or something. So it was like, 6 in Austin. And she's like, can you talk? Like, are you able to talk to me? This is really important. And I was like, okay. And we talked and she was like, so we need you to record today with Gary and Jay. And I was like, okay. But it was so cool. And then I'm also going to be on a panel. So I'm like so excited because I don't know. I just like 5 years ago when I started and I got into real estate, I was like, these people are so successful. Like I just looked up to people that were on stage so much. And now to like have had the honor to be asked to do that myself is just like unbelievable.
Well, to add the pinnacle to that, I've now made you the official co-host of the show because Nick said that you fill his bucket and I don't. So I think he's off.
Oh,
so that's cool.
Well,
Nick, it was a nice run. Nick, it was a nice run. So, but now we're going to talk to someone about going global and taking this global. And you have met her. You two actually remind me of each other.
I'm so excited for our guest because I actually met her for the first time last week, and I just like think she's the coolest ever. So when I saw your email last night, I was like, oh my gosh, this is
I like to keep it a surprise, kind of. And she's really smart. She has a PhD. So I'm pretty sure we need to call her Dr. Lisette Montoto. Dr. Lisette, because I don't know of another PhD. Well, I think there's a course writer for KW that has a PhD, but I really don't know someone, like I could not imagine committing to something that long and like seeing it all the way through. And so I can honor anybody who has a PhD, but she has rocked it. I saw a post last night. Keller Williams Worldwide has reached 50. Wait, how do I do that? 50 countries, 50. 5-0. They've added 7 so far this year, which is amazing, and more to come. And I love being a part of their community so much. So do you want to bring her on?
Sure. What do I do? Just come on. I'm new at this.
I know. I should have made it so uncomfortable. But I want to welcome Lisette. Will you please introduce yourself?
Hi. Well, I agree with Kimberly. I was just tickled to receive your invite. So thank you for having me on. I'm Lisette Montoto, the Regional Development Director for KW Worldwide.
And what do you do?
I was on a call yesterday. My husband described me. I'm like the team leader of the world, as someone said yesterday. I was like, oh,
that is such an awesome job. I love that.
Team leader of the world. Like my theme, everybody knows in our group, is world domination. But team leader of the world is like loving and nice. And like, yeah, that's right. Team leader.
It's super badass too.
Yeah, so I feel incredibly fortunate to be in the role. I love the role. I do feel like it's the best role in the company. Sorry, everyone else, but it's an incredible team to work with, and just the opportunity and the impact that I'm able to have, and is just, I mean, I'm not having to do like daily motivations. Like every day I just wake up super pumped to see who I'm going to speak with and what conversations we're going to have around the world. So it's really exciting.
So my question for you is, when you came from international school, right? That was your background from another career. And when you're like, hey, listen, there's a company that's looking for international growth and we'd like to talk to you about it, but we want you to grow this. And then also we want you to build wealth of all of our associates through this opportunity. Like, it sounds crazy. I say to people all the time, I want you to think about it this way. The owners of a market center in America give up about 48%. They invest their capital, their money, and they pay, if 52% they keep, they pay me a salary to go build agents' wealth. Right? Like, it sounds crazy. And growth share is actually even better because there's no ceiling.
Right. It's based on royalty, so there's no cap. Yeah, I think, when I, like you said, I came from a background in international education. Real estate was not on my radar. All I knew about real estate is I owned a home, and that was my only experience with real estate, was having gone through that process. So when I was first approached about this role, I was like, "What, are you crazy? Like, what, like, how would I even be qualified? And what, like, I don't understand." And I think I was just so naive. I was like, yeah, of course I'll do that. And as I've done the role, I was like, oh wow, this is such an opportunity. Oh wow. So like, as I'm literally transforming people's lives around the world, I realize the impact of the opportunity more and more every day. I think initially when I said yes, and of course I could do this, I wasn't even maybe fully aware of the possibilities, honestly.
Well, we like to surprise people on like really what the job entails, because just like real estate school, they teach you nothing about being out in the real world. So what could someone like Kimberly, young, vibrant, brilliant, like how could she take advantage of an opportunity of growth share?
Oh, yes, I love that you asked that question, because I feel like we talk so much about profit share, and like we're having this conversation now, more recently, like wealth building Wednesdays and stuff. But I didn't know anything about growth share until you and I talked last week. So yeah, what's the opportunity there for people?
Yeah, it's kind of like, what's not the opportunity, right? So when you say, my goal is that in every breath people say profit share, they should be saying growth share as well, because It's the same tree. The way it works, the percentages is the same. And people just really need to understand that their opportunity is not just the US and Canada, it's the entire world. And that our growth story is just getting started. We just started, 7-8 years ago, and we're just starting regions. We're just signing market centers for the first time in a lot of these countries. The agent count, the curve on increase in agent count is going to be really steep. And we are, Bill, our president, Bill Stodderoff, his vision is by 2027 that we are in 100 countries or regions and have 100,000 agents. So we're just north of 11,000 right now. You can do the numbers. That's 89,000 opportunities that are.
I can figure that one out. I don't need to do that. And 89,000 people that we could change their life, and they have to name somebody in the growth share model. It's Absolutely. No different.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the opportunities are, obviously growth share being named as the sponsor, but also, a lot of these regions, they have family reunions, they have their events, they look to leadership in the US to come speak. I know Caryn's been the beneficiary of an invite like that. So there's just such an opportunity not only to receive, but to give. Like there's such an opportunity to give and to really impact. You have to imagine a lot of these countries don't have licensing, don't have exclusive listings, have never heard of a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. That like the idea of professionalizing the industry there is like a novel concept. So sometimes looking at all that Keller Williams has done over the past 35 plus years, it's like looking at a time machine for them in the future of what can happen for them, right? So we are really have such an opportunity to pour into people all around the world and help them really understand how they can not just build their businesses, but truly transform their countries. And I know that sounds like, when I was hired and I was told that, I was like, sure, I came from international education. That's really where you're changing hearts and minds. But wow, like my mind is continually blown over and over on hearing the stories of how these models and systems, how this training, how this coaching, how our technology, how all these things are truly transforming lives. I mean, in a dramatic way.
And you said something the other day, and I know you talked to one of our offices yesterday in Naperville. You were the featured guest, and it's not recruit. What does that conversation look like when I'm thinking, hey, I speak Portuguese, or I speak Spanish, or I speak Chinese, or I speak Mandarin, or whatever it looks like? I mean, that's a plus. You don't have to, because there's a lot of countries that speak English as their first language. But what do those conversations look like, or how do you want us to show up that we can help build and be life changers?
Sure. That's a great question. I think first is letting them know Keller Williams is coming. We're coming. And then who do you know? Who do you know that's a leader? Sometimes it's, we're really looking for the next Gary Keller of that country, or as I like to say, Gail Keller, because very much so, I'm supportive of women leaders. Woo! So you let them know who's coming, and you let them know who do you know. And you're really looking for someone, that is English speaker. They need to be able to tune into our training and then localize it for their region. They need to have influence and validity. I say that over and over, but sometimes people really don't understand what influence and validity means. We have to understand that it's Keller who. They don't understand who we are. They might have a history of franchises in their country that are really franchising, and they don't really understand what our models and systems could mean for them and how it's so different and how it's so agent-centric. But really, it's like you would with a team leader, right? Tell them how much you love KW, tell them how it's changed your life, and then refer them over. So there's no expectation that agents are out there doing heavy lifting. They're getting in relationship with people. They're letting them know how they love Keller Williams, how it's changed their life, and then they're making an introduction. And I'm happy to have those referring agents on the calls for that initial call, and even a few after that to help them just learn about the process.
Well, and it works both ways. So Priscilla DeJager is watching today, and she's the one, Lisette, I talked to you about the other day that I went to South Africa to speak at Family Reunion. She was the #1 agent in South Africa, their country that year. She messaged me. I didn't meet her at the event, but messaged me and said, I want to come work with you. And so we brought her over on an 18-month visa. She just had to go back. But what's amazing about this is it works both ways. So she was already earning gross share because she has friends and family that have entered the real estate business. But she also got to come to America, and now she's sponsoring agents from her time here, and now she's earning profit share.
Yeah.
Like, think about what is possible. So because she raised her hand and because she did the work and because she invested in herself, she came here and now she's earning gross share and profit share. So Priscilla, you did it.
Absolutely. And her story is just such an incredible one. And to me, such a great example of the impact this company can have on people. And like you said, I mean, if she can be on a Zoom call from South Africa, recruiting and bringing in people to her downline, there should be no excuse anyone in the US doesn't feel like they can do the exact same thing on the same platform. I mean, that is sort of, if we can say there's a silver lining at all to this pandemic, is that, you know, people are so much more comfortable on Zoom. Worldwide has always been operating on Zoom pre-COVID. Should have bought that stock. But, you know.
Lululemon made way more money. Like, that was like the best buy ever. Well, everybody that keep paying $120 for a pair of leggings, everybody keep paying.
But, you know, to say that the world has gotten so much smaller, and really Worldwide has benefited so much from all the virtual events. Like, now think of how many more people worldwide are going to be able to participate in Mega Camp that maybe it just wasn't as accessible to get on a plane and come. You know, reaching out virtual, people are so much more open, I think, to hopping on a Zoom call, hearing what you have to say than previously. So really the opportunity, it was big before, but now I think it's just so much more accessible as a result of the year of 2020. So really, I think agents not only should be hopping on Zoom calls, but once those flights open up and you're vacationing around the world again, you know, have some meetings. 6 of the 7 regions that we opened this year were KW agent referrals. And, you know, one of those was literally someone who went back to their home country, knocked on some doors of realtors. Someone was like, I don't know who you are, but you're from the States. I'll give you 5 minutes. And after lots of nurturing and lots of conversations, they're now our ROP of Slovenia. So it is not unheard of. Another mega agent out of Colorado this year, she used an agent. She didn't use an agent. I shouldn't say it that way, but she worked with an agent to buy a property in the Dominican Republic and recognized her as talent immediately, wrote me an email. I got in conversation with her. I mean, that's all she did was write me an email and let me know how great she was. She also gave me a phone call to make sure I got the email. And that phenomenal leader is now the ROP of the Dominican Republic.
So like this girl from Colorado goes on vacation, buys a house, and gets a country under her in her gross share tree. And so now every time she goes to the DR, that trip's a write-off. That's a business expense.
Yeah. So we'll let that sink in.
I mean, everything's a business to me, but that's why I really want to go around the world, thanks to KW, and it really is a conversation, and people will listen. You just said something that was super insightful, and it seems small, but it's very important. When you go to another country and you say, I'm with Keller Williams from United States, people will stop and listen, right? Because they don't know who you are yet, and the fact that you're from the United States and you're reaching out. Like when I've moved from market to market running market centers, I'm like, hey, they brought me in from Keller Williams in Denver, Colorado, or they brought me, and those conversations, it's such an easy conversation. Would you be open to the opportunity?
Yeah, and coming from contribution, what a time to ask people how they're doing. What's their business like? What support are they getting? I can promise you they're not getting an inch of the support that we're receiving from Keller Williams right now. I mean, all the training, the Pivot Facebook page, the mega camps coming up. I mean, there's people like, it will be hard for people to wrap their mind around the type of support and how age-centric we are, because that's just such a foreign, forgive the pun, concept to them. So I think, yes, coming from contribution, asking them if they'd be open to the opportunity. Absolutely.
Kimberly.
Well, also, I just wanted to add, like you had mentioned something a little bit ago, is a lot of these countries don't require licenses. And so there's like a level of professionalism that can be achieved just through the training and tools that we have to offer.
Absolutely.
Well, Kimberly, think about this. Kimberly, how many buyer workshops did you do last year?
Well, I don't know, 50 probably.
Okay, and how many people did you average in those buyer workshops?
25.
Okay, so if I add that up, Lisette, I need you. No, I'm just kidding. So let's say there's 1,000 people that passed through that registered in these workshops, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if you asked every one of those 1,000 people if they know anybody that's around the world that is interested in a career in real estate?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's
asking our clients, because we have clients. I mean, I live in a pretty diverse community. We have people from all over the world that come from all over the world that work in our market, and they know friends and family and background. So if that's 1,000 people that you're already actually intimately working with that you can ask. It doesn't have to be that you are a realtor going to get a realtor. Like, I had a big aha the other day. I have a girlfriend who has a very, very important job. She's director of operations for a company from Middle East and Africa. And I thought, well, wait a second. I'm going to reach out to her and say, hey, when you bought a house, who was your agent, right?
Yeah.
Or in the industry, or what other women are, and just asking those questions, because she's not in the real estate industry at all.
Exactly. Kim. So it's who do you know, who do you know? Because the chances that are, the example I gave the Dominican Republic, your agent that you used is the next ROP, phenomenal story, but not going to always be the case, right? So you need to ask, who do you know, who do you know, who do you know? And I promise, if everyone in this company started asking that, I mean, we would have all our answers tomorrow. So you just have to ask the question. And I think some people think like, well, I don't know that Gary Keller, so this opportunity isn't for me. And it's like, so you don't know anyone that's ever traveled there. You don't know anyone that could know someone that's used. And remember, we're really focusing right now on obviously the biggest opportunity, which is regional operating principles to open and launch the region in their country. They're becoming a master licensee. But then we have current regions where they're just getting started. There's agents to refer into those market centers currently. So referring into current regions, those agents, huge opportunity there. And then, of course, referrals in command, people. You can go in now, you can look at the map, and you can see who you can be referring business to. Don't try to list or sell a property in another country where you don't understand the laws, you don't understand how you're going to be taxed. Refer that business, just like you would in the US, work out that referral agreement. And you have KW agents around the world where you can be doing that. So don't forget about that opportunity. And I'd be remiss not to plug our website, kwworldwide.com. You can refer in there. There's a tab on the tab nav bar that says KW Associates. You can fill out your form there if you have a candidate, and that comes to me directly. And I'm
actually going to share my screen, and we can talk about this website if that works for you, because I think you navigating of where we go to find the opportunity would be awesome. Okay, let me find.
Happy to do it.
Perfect. Now you can see everyone. Okay, so tell me where to go.
Up at the top that says in white KW Associates, there's a drop down there. If you're going to refer a candidate for launching KW, this is where you would go in and fill in that information right there.
Okay, and what is the number one thing they must be able to do when you're looking for the next, that's cute, the next Gary Keller?
It's I wouldn't say it's one thing. It's sort of a package of things that they have influence and validity in their local marketplace. They're fluent in English, and they're full-time living there, and they have a track record of growth and entrepreneurship or success.
Oh, the country I was thinking about the other day. So my grandmother is from Bermuda, right? My mom is first generation American. And so I have a lot of family history in Bermuda because I do my family tree. And I'm thinking, great, I'm going to reach out to that side of the family, and I'm going to start connecting the dots. Like, why not?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is a great landing page you're on right now under About Us. If you click regions, so all of these tiles represent our current regions. And if you click in there, depending on if the region is really new or not, but it'll show their website if they have one, the email for the regional operating principal, so you can reach out to them directly. If you have an agent you want to refer in, that's the best way to do it, is contacting that OP and letting them know, I know this great agent, her name's Caryn. I want to refer her into your market centers, one of your market centers. She lives in this city. Who's the team leader that I need to be in relationship with? And they'll get you connected.
This is awesome because I'm at KW Indonesia right now, and this is their website. You can search for properties around the world, and our technology keeps making that easier and easier. So I'm really looking forward to what that looks like next. it's going to be pretty amazing of where it goes. Okay, let me ask you both. Kimberly, what does your morning look like? Because I know that you require sleep. You don't need beauty sleep because you're beautiful, both of you. Do people ever tell you that you look like Tina Fey?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, I can totally see that.
It's actually Latina Fey.
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, my parents are from Cuba. I'm Latina, so Latina Fey. You heard it here first.
That's my brother-in-law is part Cuban. That's awesome. So, oh my gosh, Latina Fey. That's amazing. We need to get her a t-shirt. Jason, order her a Latina shirt. Get her to email latina@kw.com.
Yeah, this has got Liz Lemon written all over it. I know.
Oh yes, and the glasses definitely add to that.
You speak Spanish?
Yes.
Okay. Any other languages?
No.
No, I'm barely English. That's my rule. Okay, Kimberly, what does your morning look like? And Lisette, what does yours look like? Fascinated by this.
Not quite like yours. I'm not a morning person. I get up at like 6:30. Well, I like have always wanted to be one of those people that's like 5 a.m. like crushing the day. I'm not. And I've accepted that. I get up at 6:30. 3 days a week, 2 to 3 days a week, I work out with a trainer on Zoom from 7 to 7:30. Keeps me accountable. And then, just kind of get it ready. And then we always have a team power up call at 8:45 every morning. So I'm not a big like get up, do my morning affirmations, that kind of stuff. I'm more of like the roll out of bed kind of person.
Yeah. I mean, Alexa does morning affirmations. She does affirmations now. So I'm like, Alexa, give me an affirmation to start my day. And she does every day. So it's pretty fun. Okay, Lisette, what does yours look like?
Well, I have a 4-year-old as of yesterday and a 1.5-year-old. So I'm up at 5 every day, typically not by choice because my 1-year-old wakes up then and I'm still breastfeeding. So usually in her room for a little while and just, mostly getting the kids ready, hanging out with them, getting breakfast. It's a little bit of a zoo. I mean, typically right before I get on like a professional call with someone around the world, I'm literally like changing a diaper or, like calming a tantrum before I'm like, hello, you had no idea what I was just dealing with, but
I know I was thinking, how is your house so quiet with a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old? Every time
I'm like 3 layers of doors back here and I just lock myself in this room until the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's,
it's obviously we had to hire a nanny right when this happened because there was just no way. So, to all the working parents out there, you are the heroes of the year. It is not easy. I salute you all. You are all my superheroes.
Anxieties are high, tensions are high. Like for us, school is starting last week and this week and next week. And, I know dads, you do a lot, but seriously, moms, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you go to work. I don't know how to homeschool. I don't even know how you remember to feed your kid. I think you are the most superhero person in the entire universe because there is no way I could handle what they handle.
Yeah, I really salute all the parents. We were so lucky to have help. We're actually going to be sending our kids back to daycare soon. Not an easy decision. But I just know so many parents out there are juggling Zoom calls for their kids. There's just so much going out there. And I really think they deserve the accolades that they should be receiving right now. I mean, they are the total heroes.
It's amazing. I mean, and what if, okay, so then I'm thinking, what if you grow growth share, okay, because I got to make everything tie it all up in a bow. You get growth share, and then you can like pay for a mom, be like, you know what, I'm going to send you to the spa today because you've been amazing. Because like for me, my profit share money pays for people to go to real estate school. So like I come from a restaurant background. Well, I've committed the next profit share check to KW Cares because I really want to drive that initiative. If we all give a little bit of our
this month. Yeah, I loved hearing that on the Monday call. A lot of people committing to sharing this month's profit share, growth share to KW Cares. I'm so glad.
Did Mark take credit for that? Because he probably did when it was 100% my idea. And so I'm going to have a conversation with him about that. But I think that so I like to gift because I came from the restaurant business. And so I think I'm a tough worker. Like I restaurant workers are grinders. And so if I have great service, I will say, hey, I'd like to give you could be the greatest tip of your life. I'd like to pay for you to go to real estate school. And so that's kind of my way of changing someone's life. And if they raise their hand, and it's not everybody raises their hand to the opportunity. When they do, I love doing it for them. So I think about growth share and whose life could you make their day just a little bit better, because everybody is going through a lot right now.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the focus on earning growth share, but then like what's the impact you're going to have with that growth share? Not just the actual dollars and cents of that growth share, like you are reinvesting it in other people, but bringing people into this family and how you're going to impact them. So just really on so many levels, the impact and the opportunity here. I just really want people to understand that. Like it's not some gimmick. We're not trying to get people, it's like, this is real impact. These are real lives being changed. And Priscilla's name, I'm so glad you mentioned her. There's so many stories. There's so many stories of people who feel like they didn't realize the opportunity, and you all have the responsibility, I feel like, in a way, to share this messaging.
I mean, Rosemary Baca's on this. She's an agent of mine. She is a freaking rock star. Her list price to sales price, by the way, is 99% better than anybody else in her market. So she can beat out any listing, getting it right the first time. And she has family all over the world too, in South America. So Rosemary, I'm going to challenge you to build your growth share. So I love you.
Yes, and
I just wanted to add, I think it's sometimes we can take advantage, or we take for granted what we have at Keller Williams. Like, I've always been at KW, and so I've never had anything else. And I didn't realize how fortunate we are to have a lot of the tools and the things that we have available. And I had the opportunity to talk to someone in another country last week and learning about their real estate market and just the standards, the things that they have. And it's like, wow, we have it so good at KW. And sometimes some of us don't realize that.
I appreciate you saying that. I've been at Remax, I've been at Coldwell, I've been at other companies. So I've tried every model. I left KW because I got bought. And then I walked in the first day and I'm like, where are my people? Right. So I had to come back to where my heart is. So I really, Kimberly, especially the success you have, to hear you say, I don't take it for granted, because oftentimes people reach a massive amount of success. So I'm a big deal. I deserve to go here. They're cool over there. That brand is sexy there. And it's it's when you usually the people that are most grateful where they come from another company, but to recognize what you have in front of you is awesome. So thank you. I am grateful for that.
Yeah. I mean, if 2020 is teaching us anything, is if you really don't value something until you've lost it. Right. So I think, Caryn, speaking to, having left KW, the zealous convert, when you come back, you're all the more on fire because you realize the value of what you had lost. And so for some of us who haven't had to lose KW, who've always grown up in the KW family, like you mentioned, Kimberly, I think that's just such an important point. All right.
Kimberly, I'm excited. So we do not have Command Your Morning on Friday because it's a holiday weekend, nor do we have it on Monday. So lucky for you, you all don't have to suffer through this for the next week. But next Wednesday, we're going to be back with amazing guests. And Kimberly will be my co-host, and Jessica Starr. We'll just keep rotating because Nick's out. Nick who?
Nick. Is it because I fill his cup?
Yeah, it's because it's not because you fill his cup, because I love that. It's because he said I don't fill his cup.
Oh,
so that's why he's out. So he's dead to me. But Lisette, I'm so excited to keep this conversation going. Grow share. Rosemary, she's calling her father, who is in the Peruvian Air Force. He goes there every year. That's right, girl. Get it done.
Yeah, we just signed Peru last month. There's an opportunity. We're just looking for OP candidates of market centers. It's just getting started. They're going to launch early in 2021. We just signed Peru. So there's huge opportunities with Peru. Love to introduce you to the OP there.
I mean, didn't you just get the chills? Yeah. Lisette, keep setting records. I know what the goal is for KW Worldwide, but I'm pretty sure you're going to sign 10 countries next year. And raise your hand if you want to help her.
Everyone
help her. All right. Thank you Thank you. We're gonna run out with some music. I'm gonna finish the song that Kimberly requested.
In the Welcoming Wednesday today. I'm on there today with Aaron Kaufman. Tune
You
in.
are? Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Some days you wake up and nothing works, you feel surrounded. Gotta give your feet some gravity to get you grounded. Keep good things inside your ears just like the waves inside.
Bye, everybody. See you next
And
week.
just say whatever, cause there is no way you're grounded. Everyone falls down sometimes, but you just gotta know it'll all be
Yeah, Kimberly,
fine.
I love
It's
you.
okay.
So fun. Thank you.